Just 2 months ago, Alfri Guenigault, apologies for the mispronunciation there, a veteran who served in World War II as a paratrooper, was served a no-fault eviction notice and asked to leave his home at the age of 98. He now lives in a hostel with his daughter Debbie Dean and her husband, Bert, who says they feel helpless. At the end of July, GB News spoke to Alfred and his family about the situation. Here's a clip.
We just can't get any help at all. No help whatsoever. We've been put in here and we've got to make the most of it.
This is Alfi Guenigault, a 98-year-old D-Day veteran, currently living in a hostel after being evicted from his rented bungalow. Alfred lived for 7 years in the property in Dorset with his daughter and son-in-law. They were forced to move after being served a no-fault eviction notice by their landlord.
I can't see a future. I've got nothing to look forward to.
Tell me how you're feeling at the moment.
Down. Very down. Very down.
Alfred, his daughter and son-in-law can't afford the rising rental prices, so have had to turn to the council for help with housing. But they've been told it'll be a 6 to 8 month wait.
I'm delighted to say that Alfred, Debbie and Bert join us now. Debbie, how are you doing? What's the latest update?
We're no further forward now than what we were when we came in here, apart from being banded into a priority banding, which happened last week. However, nothing has accumulated from that. So that is the only thing that has happened. You have to do like a 56 day before you get a new banding. So we now are classed as a priority.
And how long do you estimate it might take until you can find new accommodation?
The council have said 6 to 8 months to us. There's been a few, you have to bid on properties, and there's been some properties on the bidding line. However, they haven't been suitable for the needs that we need for my dad mainly. The needs that he needs is the council are all aware of. They say that that they are suitable, but they're actually not suitable. Basically, all we want is just a small 2-bedroom bungalow with a private garden. What they have offered us were flats, ground floor flats, with a community garden, which we went and had a look at, and they were, level with the road, pavement and road. So they're not, and obviously has to have a walk-in shower room. I have spoken to the council regarding private rental again, because that is what the council are basically pushing us towards. And we ask, if we took a private rental again, would we be, if that ended again in 6 months, a year maybe, would we be in the same position as we are now? And their answer was yes, that we would have to go back to the very beginning of what we've just been through from February of this year.
Now,
that is acceptable.
Debbie, sorry to interrupt you there. When I saw the original package, the coverage of this, I thought that this was just absolutely heartbreaking. I thought it was so wrong and unjust, particularly after everything, Alfred, that you've done for this country. I just thought this was an absolutely abominable way to treat you. And I know that you have a fundraising page. So could you tell us how much money have you raised so far, and what difference would that money make to your quality of life overall?
So far it's raised over £4,000. The only difference that will make at the moment would be that if the council issued us with a property that didn't have, say, a walk-in shower, we could pay for that to be done. So that money will be put aside for anything that is needed doing to make my dad's life easier for him.
We've got the GoFundMe search term at the bottom there of the page, and also I'll post it later on Twitter if anybody wants to find that to donate. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight. And I also just want to say thank you so much, Alfred, for your service and for everything that you've done for this country. I think that this is an appalling situation, and Debbie, you're a wonderful daughter. I know that this has been very hard for you as well, so thank you so much for coming on to talk to us about this today. Now I'm going to bring in my panellists. Rafe, let me come to you first. When I saw this, at the same time as we see migrants being housed in luxury accommodation, we see people who have arrived here illegally being given free medical and dental treatment. And this reminds me of my own grandmother, who spent the final years of her life, she was also a veteran, spent the final years of her life locked in a care home because of the pandemic. And these people are heroes, and it's heartbreaking to see this happen. We have failed as a country, and I know that Alfred has said that he's still proud of his country, but when I saw this, I didn't feel particularly proud. No, I think that this is awful.
It's heartbreaking, you know. I was just thinking how far we've sunk from 1919 and the first Housing Act, when Lloyd George promised to give World War I veterans homes fit for heroes. And now we have a 98-year-old D-Day veteran in a hostel. It's absolutely shameful. The way we treat our veterans is a disgrace in this country. Men and women who put their lives on the line, paratrooper here you were just talking to, for a pittance, we pin medals on them. We give them a round of applause at parades, but a round of applause doesn't put a roof over your head. It doesn't keep you warm at night. It doesn't fill your stomach. And it's absolutely appalling. And as you've said, the Home Office recently requisitioned in Essex a luxury apartment building with 98 units for illegal migrants who leapfrogged over hundreds of people in Essex who were waiting for housing, living in conditions with respiratory problems from mould and so forth. We need to realise that we have to treat our own people, our own veterans, with the respect and dignity they deserve. You know, we spend more money on illegal migrants than we do on the levelling up agenda. I think this whole thing needs to be revisited quickly.
Thank you very much, Rafe. Very quickly, Stephen.
Yeah, okay, look, the problem is we have the Armed Forces Covenant in most councils, certainly in my council, but the reality is there is virtually no council housing left in Christchurch, Dorset. It's been sold off. And whether the previous accommodation they had was disability adapted or not, I don't know. But the council is perfectly entitled to actually top up the housing benefit, to actually get them a place in the private sector. But whether that will have the disabled access and the disability adaptations or not, I don't know. But bottom line is the Armed Forces Covenant has to be actually in reality, not just a piece of warm words.
I think this is absolutely appalling, and you can see there at the bottom of the screen, if you want to go and donate to Alfred's GoFundMe, please go and do that. It's so important. I think that we can actually unite together to try and do something, even if the local authority isn't, to try and make sure that Alfred gets the quality of life that he deserves, having fought for our country during the Second World War. It's really quite absurd. So thank you to both of my panellists so very much for all of your thoughts.